Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another segment of Homeowners Insurance Exposed. I'm John Dwayne. I'll be your host for today's episode. And today's episode might be one of the most important conversations that we've had yet, because today we're not just talking about insurance, we're talking about what happens when insurance companies don't do their job. We're going to connect the dots between four major events that should be a wake-up call for everybody in the industry: the altered engineering reports following Hurricane Ian, the delayed and insufficient response after Hurricane Helene, and the ongoing struggles of the Los Angeles fire victims even a year after the event, and a major lawsuit against State Farm in Oklahoma where the Attorney General has to step in. If you're a homeowner paying high premiums expecting protection, you need to hear this. Let's start first with Hurricane Ian. The storm devastated Florida back in 2022. Entire communities were wiped out. Homes were destroyed. Lives turned upside down. What came next is even more disturbing after the storm itself. There were widespread reports of allegations of engineer reports. The same documents used to determine the cause of damage were changed, manipulated after the inspections were completed. Let that sink in. Homeowners trusted that independent engineers would provide unbiased assessments. Instead, what many are claiming is that the initial findings to the reports were rewritten to shift blame away from the coverage. Why does this matter? Because once the report changes, the claim changes. Wind damage now becomes pre-existing conditions. Structural failure now becomes wear and tear. Covered claims suddenly become denied claims. This isn't just paperwork. This is the difference between families rebuilding or being left financially devastated. And here's where it becomes a bigger issue. If the reports can be altered behind the scenes, how can any homeowner trust the system? Now let's talk about Hurricane Helene, another major storm, another round of destruction, but this time the issue wasn't just disputed claims, it was delay. Homeowners waited and waited. Adjusters didn't show up on time. Payments were stalled. Communication was broke down. People that lost everything were left in limbo, unsure if they would receive help or be forced to figure it out on their own. Let me ask you something. What's the point of paying premiums year after year when disaster strikes, when the response is nowhere? Insurance companies always talk about being there for you in your time of need, but for many Helene victims, that time came and nobody showed up. Delays aren't just inconvenient, they're devastating. Families can't rebuild, mold and secondary damages worsen, temporary living costs add up, and the longer the delay, the more leverage the insurance companies have. Now, let's shift to California. The Los Angeles fires left massive devastation in their wake. Homes gone, neighborhoods destroyed. But here's the shocking part. A year later, many victims are still fighting with their insurance companies. Think about that. One full year, and people are still arguing over coverage, disputing lowball estimates, waiting on payments, trying to rebuild their lives without the support of the insurance company. This is where the system starts to show its failure. Insurance companies are quick to collect premiums, but when it comes time to pay out, suddenly everything slows down. Homeowners are forced into a battle they never signed up for. The emotional toll? It's enormous. We're talking about families who've lost everything, now forced to become negotiators, investigators, and sometimes even litigators just to get what they're owed. Here's something that doesn't get talked about. Even when homeowners do get partial payments or reach some kind of an agreement with their insurance company, they're hitting another wall: the permit process. In Los Angeles, many fire victims are facing serious delays just trying to get approval to rebuild. We're talking about lengthy plan reviews, backlogs in city departments, changing building codes and requirements, environmental and zoning slowing everything down. Homeowners are submitting plans, and then waiting months just to hear back. Some are being told they need revisions, not because they did anything wrong, but because regulations have changed since their homes were originally built. Others are stuck in a cycle of submit, wait, revise, resubmit, and wait again. All of this is happening while they're displaced, paying out of pocket for temporary housing and trying to rebuild their lives. Now, here's where this directly goes back and ties into the insurance. Many policies include additional living expenses. That's ALE in an insurance policy, a coverage meant to help homeowners live somewhere else while their home is being repaired or rebuilt. But ALE coverage isn't forever. So this happens when the insurance companies delay the claim and then the city delays the permit. Homeowners are getting squeezed from both sides. Their benefits are running out, not because they failed to do their part, but rather because the system itself is just too slow. And in some cases, by the time the permits are finally approved, homeowners are forced to pay out of pocket, take on debt, or abandon the rebuilding process altogether. This isn't just a bureaucratic issue. This is a recovery crisis because when people are trying to do everything right, the process is working against them. Now, let's jump over to Oklahoma. This is where things escalate even further. State Farm is one of the largest companies in the country, is now facing a lawsuit so serious that the Attorney General had to step in. That should tell you everything you need to know. When the state's top legal authority gets involved, it's no longer just a dispute between the homeowner and the insurance company. It becomes a question of the system itself failing. Is the system failing itself? The allegations, failure to properly handle claims, failure to pay what is owed, and the practices that have harmed policyholders on a larger scale. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a growing pattern, and it raises critical questions. How many homeowners are dealing with the same issues but don't have the resources to fight back? Here's the bigger picture. When you step back and look at this all together, Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Helene, the LA fires, the permit delays, and now what's going on in Oklahoma, it seems a pattern emerges. Different states, different disasters, same problem. Delays, denials, disputes, administrative roadblocks, and in some cases, manipulation of the process itself. This isn't a coincidence. It's systemic, and it's happening to homeowners across the country. At Homeowners Insurance Exposed, our mission is simple: to shed light on what's happening behind the scenes, because the truth is, most homeowners don't find out how their policy works until it's too late. If you've experienced something like this, you're not alone. If you're a public adjuster or an attorney or an industry insider who has seen this firsthand, we want to hear from you. Come on our show, share your story, help us expose the truth. Because until these issues are brought out into the open, nothing changes. Make sure that you like and share this video with everyone that you know, especially homeowners. You can see our website at hoiexposed.com. Our YouTube channel on YouTube is HOI Exposed. Everybody, please like and share this video to everyone you know, especially your homeowner friends. Hey, everybody, stay safe out there. We'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching. This is JD, and I'm out of here for now.